Good morning. My name is David Sullivan, and I'm the Director of Research at the Enough Project, and we're here today in support of SB 861, a bill that would help California help to end the war in eastern Congo, the deadliest conflict in the world since World War II. The war in Congo has been fueled by a lucrative trade in its mineral resources, with armed groups and military units who benefit from the trade committing horrific atrocities, including the systematic use of rape as a weapon of war. The Enough Project is a project of the Center for American Progress in Washington, D.C., dedicated to ending genocide and crimes against humanity, beginning with some of the worst human rights crises on the African continent. We conduct field research on the ground in places like Congo, develop practical policy recommendations, and then advocate directly with the United States government, as well as work with a growing movement of grassroots activists to build a permanent constituency dedicated to improving the way that the United States government responds to these conflicts, including many of the groups that are here today. I'm going to introduce all of our speakers today and then hand things over to Senate Majority Leader Ellen Corbett. First, we'll have Pastor Kasarika Kosomo of the African Christian Community Church of Southern California. We'll then have Janice Keminer-Resnick, President and co-founder of Jewish World Watch. Elena Perez of the National Organization for Women, Amal Mehra, the coordinator of the International Corporate Accountability Roundtable, Patricia Jurowitz of the Responsible Sourcing Network, representing 28 different institutional investors, and Professor Chip Pitts of Stanford Law School, a United Nations expert on conflict-sensitive practices and the former chief legal officer of Nokia, Inc. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our Senate champion, Senate Majority Leader Ellen Corbett.
Thank you very much, David, and I want to thank all of the people that are here today for this very important press conference and our opportunity to have this legislation heard before the Governmental Organization Committee. And thank you, David, for your work at the Enough Project. Very, very important. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be able to work on this project. The stories we're hearing from the Congo are truly heartbreaking. Over 5 million people have died, and hundreds and thousands of women and children have been sexually assaulted. Illegal militias are largely financed through the sale of minerals that are illegally extracted from Congolese mines and smuggled into neighboring countries. Many of the speakers today have personal stories that they will share with you, and they will tell you more in detail about what is happening in the Congo. I'm going to talk for a moment just about the legislation. Senate Bill 861 complements federal legislation, the Dodd-Frank Act signed by President Obama in 2010. Under this act, publicly traded companies must disclose to the Securities Exchange Commission whether they use blood minerals in their products and whether they are taking steps to make sure that minerals, that they're not using minerals that come from mines that have been overtaken by militias in the Congo. Through this legislation, California can do a lot to improve the lot of the people in the Congo. This measure is directed at lowering the demand for these minerals through market and public pressure. Senate Bill 861 has the support of the California Consumer Federation and 28 investors with over $25 billion worth of assets under their management, which is a clear signal that consumers and investors care about the human cost of a product that they use. California would be the first state in the nation to be free of conflict minerals if this legislation is successful. So many people have come here today, and I'm thankful to them to support this legislation. And let me stop right there so you can hear from the other speakers.
Okay, our first speaker is going to be Pastor Kasarika Kosomo of the African Christian Community Church of Southern California.
I wish I would be speaking in Swahili or Kinandi to let you know that you hear stories, but we live those stories. Congo is a country where the people are used to be called the joyful people, where at the time the president said that that's a nice people because they're people who can sing and dance. But today in eastern part of Congo, it's rather crying and crying. I'm a pastor that serves over 200 congregates, but reaching out to more than 3,000 people in Southern California. And I can tell you that celebrating masses for baptism or for wedding all together are not coming closer to all the memorial services that I conduct in Southern California because of people who died back in Congo as a result of atrocities that are going on in that country. Many, many people are being killed. At this time I'm talking to you, a young man, 25 years old, in my own village where I was born, was killed yesterday for nothing else that he did just because he was starting a small business of selling just little items here and there. And we know that all that is because some people believe that they are the ones who have to trade the minerals from Congo and other natural resources from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So when we heard about this bill, SB 861, really that went straight to our heart. And I want to say thank you, Senator Corbett, for that bill. And also with Jewish World Watch. Jewish World Watch that has become a voice for the voiceless. I'm just here to be a witness of what they're telling, people all over the world today of atrocities that are going in there. So we are just here with a few more who are supposed to be here. Well, Congolese time sometimes is very relative, but some people are supposed to be here just to support this bill, SB 861, to say, please vote for it if you care for the Congolese people. If really you want to hear that no more killings on that magnitude is happening in that country, please vote for that Bill 861, SB 861. And that's the only thing we are coming to do here in Sacramento. So I just want to thank you for the privilege of letting me say, even though I have so many, many stories, my wife will have told you many, because at the first of the war, she lost her mother as a result of that, and the uncle of her mother. And at the time, it's so limited. Thank you again.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Next, we have Janice Kaminer-Resnick, president and co-founder of Jewish World Watch.
Thank you. Jewish World Watch is a grassroots organization of 75 synagogues in Southern California. We have a combined constituency of about 350,000 Californians, all of whom feel very passionately about the problem confronting the people of Congo. I myself have traveled to Congo twice this year and met with rape victims and met with young children and met with all different kinds of people in Congo who've been victimized mainly because of the illicit mining that's going on there. And I feel very strongly, as does our constituent base, about this issue. We have, just in the last 2 weeks, gathered 1,000 signatures of Californians in support of 861, and we are very confident that we'll be able to get masses of people to support this piece of legislation. We're a people who believes very strongly in conscience prevailing over profit, and that's what this bill is about. This bill is about not using rape cell phones and not using devices that other people had to be hurt, murdered, and raped over for us to be able to have the benefits of modern technology. So we feel very strongly about this, and we're ready to our troops are really ready to march on Sacramento in support of this bill. So we're very excited with what Senator Corbett has accomplished to date, and are confident that the people of California, if given a choice, would never, ever want people to be hurt the way the Congolese people are being hurt, so that we can exercise modern-day technology. So very strongly on this issue, and we're ready to pull out the troops.
And now we have Elena Perez of the National Organization for Women.
The California National Organization for Women is our state's largest feminist organization, and we are concerned about the issue of conflict in the Congo, specifically because of the way that it has affected women and girls in that country. The UN had a report of 27,000 rapes occurring in a single year in a single province in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And when we are talking about rapes in these situations, we are talking about women as old as 75 and children as young as 18 months. And we are not talking about rape in the way that we may normally think about it, Women have been raped with objects. Women have had guns fired into their vaginas. Women have had damage done to them on a scale that it cannot be physically repaired. And this is happening on a massive scale throughout the country. And we need to allow the people of California to make the choice not to support these kinds of wide-scale atrocities that are occurring. We as a state, as a nation, and as individuals have a responsibility not to allow our own personal desire to have a technological device to supersede the human rights and the human needs of those in another country. And we believe that this bill, SB 861, will make massive strides in allowing Californians to make the right decisions in these situations. Thank you very much.
Thanks. We're now going to hear from Barry Broad, Legislative Director for the California Teamsters Public Affairs Council.
Good afternoon or morning. I'm Barry Broad. I'm the Director of the Teamsters Public Affairs Council. I'm also on the Board of Directors of the Alliance to Stop Slavery and End Trafficking. And I just want to say that the Civil War was fought in which 600,000 people died in a country of roughly 20 million to end slavery, the great moral issue of the 19th century. And in the 21st century, we're dealing with a resurgence of slavery and human trafficking, of the use of child soldiers, of rape and torture as part of acts of war. And to think that businesses can turn a blind eye, can basically say, we see no evil, we hear no evil, we speak no evil, we can't do anything about this problem, is simply shameful. And anybody that would get up and oppose this bill on the ground that it's too hard, that it will drive business to other states, should go home and look at themselves in the mirror and look at the mirror of American history and ask themselves how they could stand up in public and say such a ridiculous, baseless, immoral thing. So we will be strongly supporting this bill, as we do many issues of human rights, and allow American consumers to do what American consumers do best, which is make their choices based on how they really feel about things. And there is nobody in this state that wants to buy minerals or products containing conflict minerals that are in which profit is made and profit is derived from horrendous acts of violence against other people.
Thanks, Barry. I know that the hearing is coming up very soon, so we'll move quickly through our final speakers.
We're scheduled to be on at 10. Okay. So just a little time check.
Okay. And then next is Patricia Jurowitz from the Responsible Sourcing Network.
Thank you. The Responsible Sourcing Network is a project of As You Sow, a nonprofit based in San Francisco. As a representative of 28 institutional investors with over $123 billion under management, I would like to commend Senator Corbett for introducing Senate Bill 861. Similar to how investors leverage their position to promote responsible business practices, this bill leverages the position of an institutional purchaser to help end the egregious situation in the Congo. We support this bill because it incentivizes companies to comply with the disclosure requirements of the federal legislation and halt revenue flows to armed groups destroying the country. Clearly, any link in a company's supply chain which has the potential to facilitate the breach of fundamental human rights is not only unacceptable as a matter of policy and principle, but also is damaging to a company's reputation and the value of our investors. You know, it's very important for all of us to understand that investors want to see companies do the right thing. As my fellow speakers have said, we don't want to have blood on our hands from purchasing these products, and neither do investors. So we fully support this legislation, and I know that we could have a lot of investor support behind it as well. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to move very quickly now to make sure we're on time. Amal Mehra, coordinator of the International Corporate Accountability Roundtable.
Thank you. Yes, I'm cognizant of the time crunch. My name is Amol Mehra, and I serve as coordinator for the International Corporate Accountability Roundtable. We're a coalition of human rights organizations working at the nexus of business and human rights. Our members include Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights First, Earth Rights International, and Global Witness. I will say, because of the time crunch, that on behalf of my coalition, I'm here to fully support SB 861. We commend Senator Corbett for introducing this important piece of legislation and indicate our full support for California's call to go conflict-free. Thank you.
And in closing, Professor Chip Pitts.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with Senator Corbett and the other organizations here representing many institutional investors and millions of California citizens. I just want to quickly say that this is not discretionary for businesses. This bill is the first one in a U.S. state on this subject, but it's part of a panoply of laws that's sweeping the world, ranging from the UN Security Council to the UN Global Compact soft law to procurement codes around the world that are doing the same sort of thing that this legislation is advocating. At Nokia, when I was the chief legal officer of Nokia in the 90s, I got a call about coltan. I didn't know what it was. But it is possible for businesses to have systems in place to exercise due diligence as required by law to ensure that their supply chains are not complicit in the worst forms of human rights abuse and atrocity that you've heard today. So Nokia has had a system since 2001, and now most of the major industries in the world have been similarly attending to the due diligence in their supply chain. So it is possible, and in fact this legislation is common sense, market-friendly, what we would call low-hanging fruit information regulation. That's sort of a no-brainer for California and its citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone. I think we're going to be moving on to the hearing right now. And I just want to thank everyone for being here today, and we look forward to passing SB 861. Thank you.